Hey y'all, it's Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. Picture this. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app when you spot it. A brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Can you build a community of supportive, raving fans without marketing? Stay tuned and find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
You serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it up.
What is up? What is up, my dark horse friends and family? Welcome back to your daily dose of building a business with no marketing learning. I'm your dark horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you? That's infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with another daily success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game, because we already know there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. All right, now, before we kick this off, I know you want to keep getting these daily success tips, so make sure you go on down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, please leave us a 5-star rating, and if you feel like you're getting any value out of these podcasts, leave us some kind words in the reviews. These subscribes, ratings, and reviews tell the podcast platforms to lift us up ever so slightly in the rankings so that we can get exposed to even more driven entrepreneurs just like you. So if you could, take a moment, show the love, help spread the word. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, I want to take a step back here and tell you a little story about a gentleman, Mike, who was in an article I read recently where he started this fitness business. And, he, like so many of us, started working away. He was working away at his corporate America job, and he spent hours daydreaming about his passion for fitness and nutrition until he finally did something about it. And then finally, now this, of course, happened over time. He built his company. He has tens of thousands of clients from around the world. He's made the list of the Inc. 5000 and just all these great accolades that have come to go with it. But it all kind of happened by accident, which is kind of against the grain of everything I tend to share on here with you. I mean, Mike was this typical kid from a small town. I forget the name of the city in New York. It's just kind of, I don't know, what I want to do with my life. He graduates high school, heads to community college, hits up the job fair and lands a job at the bank. And then a little while later, he moves over into human resources. And he's just kind of cruising through his early 20s, trying to figure shit out, right? Just, I don't know what I want to do. But he did come to the realization that he enjoyed fitness. So he started thinking about a way he could turn that into the career, right? And like so many others that enjoy fitness, the first thing that comes to mind is being a personal trainer. And one of the things that hit him was, maybe I could rent a vehicle and take the equipment to people's houses and train them. But, there's a level of financial investment in that, and he wasn't ready for that. So he converted his garage into a gym. And literally, I think he went into debt buying all those nice pieces of equipment, the dumbbells and the kettlebells and the machines and the barbells and everything else. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's still a garage, right? It's in New York, so I'm sure it gets cold at times. And he was still working in corporate America. So now that means he can only spend an hour or two at night training people. And, it didn't work. I mean, train some folks, but as turning it into a career, it just didn't work. There wasn't enough. I know that people didn't care enough about that particular adventure. And, he had to admit to himself, if the roles were reversed and they were the trainer and he was the customer, he wouldn't buy that product either. So in the meanwhile, back on the farm, right? He had been spending an amount of time on the web, in forums and in Facebook groups, sharing about his knowledge of nutrition. Of course, he had been digging into the information that's out there. And when I say the information out there, I mean he had taken the time to avoid a lot of the fad stuff, right? And dig into the real textbooks and the science of nutrition, so that he would be more well versed in the real workings of the body. And his information began to resonate with people, and he started finding that folks were starting to ask him if he could help them with their nutrition, to work as their diet coach, if you will. And that's when the idea hit him. He goes, I'm not doing this yet, but I will be doing this. And he headed on down to his local gym in his little town, and he gave a talk, and 8 people showed up, and all 8 of those people became clients. And he started working with them, and they started getting results. And then other gyms around the area started seeing what was happening. And guess what? They wanted results for their members too. So the 8 people turned into 10 people, and the 10 turned into 20 and 50 and 100 and so forth. Now, mind you, he's still working his full-time job in human resources, right? So he admits that he probably could have stopped working in his corporate job sooner, but he wanted his diet coaching revenue to succeed, to exceed is the word I should say, his current revenue, or his current salary he was getting in his corporate job. And it got to the point where his wife, who was his girlfriend at the time, said, look, you need to go for this. If it doesn't work, we'll be fine. And this comes back to that, Who on to crew you've heard me talk about before, where you've got to have that inner circle of folks that will support you in your dreams. And obviously he had the right person in his life to help him do that. And what was really cool is when he stepped out of that corporate job, he had all this additional time to focus on building his business. He was committed. He didn't have to keep hiding in empty meeting rooms, or hiding in the bathroom, or sitting in his car in the parking lot during lunch, before and after work, taking calls from clients. Today, he's got 32,000 clients in 50 countries around this big blue spinning globe that we all live on. He has nutrition coaches all over the world, and it all happened by word of mouth. Wait, what? Yeah, I guess, if you have an amazing product, people are going to tell people. I mean, everyone wants to go out there and spend all this money to do all this amazing marketing, Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Google ads and everything else. They didn't do that. They don't even have a dedicated marketing person, right? Their philosophy is, if you give clients a really good experience, they will be walking billboards, and they'll want to share that experience with others. Now, they've done zero paid marketing. Let's get that down. What they do have is a really good referral program for their clients. So if I remember correctly, for every 5 friends that are referred into their program, they'll give the referrer a 12-week session for free. Talk about motivation. I got 5 friends that would love to have a diet coach, right? I think in today's world of fast food and probably not wanting to do great meal prep, we all have 5 friends that could use a little help with their diet. I don't know, maybe not you, but I know I do. And the other thing that they leveraged is they had found in the diet community, it was usually this standalone do-it-yourself, no community environment. So they in turn built this super active community, and their community, the people in their community, tend to be like their ipso facto assistant coaches, right? And that really allowed them to scale. All right. So now the folks that step into the program, they get their direction. And when they have questions, they're not alone. And it's not just their coach, right? They have this wealth of people out there that are going through it with them. They can talk to and they can ask questions. And again, like I said, this community of folks tend to act like assistant coaches, right? Which makes the coach's workload go down. They're able to scale at a much, much faster pace through this tactic. And if you think about it, there's probably even more local information that these people in the community have that the coaches themselves would not have. For instance, let's say you're one of the coaches in this community, right? And you're helping somebody that just come on board, and this person lives in Dallas, Texas. Well, because of today's internet world, you could live in, Green Bay, Wisconsin. So you don't know all the great little shops that are there locally, but the community does, right? There may be a question about this certain product that's in, a little mom and pop, a health food store, and the other folks in the community that live locally can answer that question. Now, this is the kind of support we all would love as we're going through whatever adventure we're going through. Now, mind you, they're not, relying entirely on that. I know when I read the article, they had been working on an app to help people track their foods and, share more information, have more information available to them. But it didn't. They started, I forget the number. They spent, it was like 6 digits on developing this app, and it just quite wasn't what they wanted it to be. And rather than put out a bad experience to their already amazing community, they scrapped it and they're starting all over again. See, this is the kind of entrepreneurial journey you just want to throw yourself into. You'll hear me touting a lot of these factors, like, if you go out there and you solve a real problem, a huge problem, right, that they're having in their lives. When I say they, I mean your community, your tribe, right? Then they will be telling the world about you. That, my friend, is the simplest way to success. All right, my Dark Horse friends and family. Tomorrow we're going to chat about Kayla. Now, Kayla's a 14-year-old girl who took her coping skills that she developed and used to deal with the death of her father and turned it into a storefront, a full-fledged business. You're definitely going to want to hear this story. Now, I know you want to keep getting all these daily success tips, and make sure you go on down there and smash that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star rating and some kind words in the review. Like I mentioned earlier, these subscribes, ratings, reviews tell the podcast platforms to raise us up in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs like yourself, like Kayla, like Mike, and like so many of your friends. So take a moment, show the love, and help us spread the word. I definitely appreciate it. And then come on over to the Facebook group, right? Go to facebook.com, and in that search bar up there, put Dark Horse Tribe and press enter. You'll see us right there at the top. Come on in and hang out with us. If for some reason you can't find us that way, go to your favorite internet browser, type darkhorseschooling.com/Dark Horse Tribe, and that should take you right there. I look forward to meeting you in the group. All right. You get out there. You run your race. You get your results, and come on over to the Facebook group and let me hear about them. Until tomorrow, think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.